Hello and welcome to another episode of the Real Estate Investing Club, the place investors go to gain actionable advice, learn about current market trends, and hear war stories from other professional investors out there in the field today. Before we get started, I have two quick housekeeping items to cover. First, if you like the episode, we would very much appreciate a like, subscribe, and share. It is the best way to support the show and keep it running. Second, if you are a new investor looking to get started in real estate or an experienced investor looking to take your investing to the next level, we created an ebook for you that will cover how to find deals that are actually deals, how to finance those deals with little to no money down, and how to exit those deals for maximum value. On top of that, I throw in an insane amount of free bonuses that you'll have access to once you buy the ebook. All we charge is our admin cost to keep the show running. So, if you're serious about real estate investing and want to create both active and passive income as an investor, head on over to the website at therealestateinvestingclub.com and click on the button that says Get the ebook to grab yourself a copy today. So with that said, let's dive right in. Today we have a very special guest with us, ready to drop some investor knowledge on you. So buckle up, grab your pen and paper, and enjoy the ride. All right, we are live. Welcome back to another episode of the Real Estate Investing Club. Today we have with us Dave Dubeau. Dave is a real estate entrepreneur, best-selling author, speaker, and investor, and attraction expert based in beautiful British Columbia, Canada. He began his real estate investing career way back in 2003, doing 18 deals in 18 months. Later, he switched his focus to client-first rent-to-own deals, and nowadays he invests in multifamily buildings. For the last several years, Dave has been a leading authority on helping mom and pop real estate investors find money partners and raise capital. I'm very excited to have Dave here. I realized I made a real small mistake in my intro. It's an investor attraction expert, not an attraction expert, which is a big difference.
Well, I'd like to be that too, Gabe. You know, that'd be all right, but I can't lay any claim to fame on that. Thanks for having me on the show, Gabe. I really appreciate it. And we're just up the road from you. So you're in beautiful Washington State. I'm in beautiful British Columbia. Good place to be.
We both share the same clouds. I love it.
That's right.
Well, Dave, we always start with stories here. So why don't you take us back to the beginning? How'd you get started in real estate?
Well, I realized, Gabe, that I actually got started in real estate way back in 1980, believe it or not.
Wow.
When I was 12 years old. My mother was a real estate entrepreneur way back in the 70s and 80s as a single working mom raising a snot-nosed kid, me. And I remember I was about 12 and my mom and my much older brother were working on a duplex deal. Like, they're always talking about this and they're getting it built from the ground up and all this kind of stuff. And I said, hey guys, that sounds like fun. I'd like to get involved. And they said, have you got any money? And somehow I had scraped up $200. I said, yeah, I've got $200. They said, okay, give us your money. So I did. And then they said, okay, you get to have the garbage stoop.
Nice.
That's your piece of the property.
Equity ownership right there.
Yeah, exactly. So that was my first foray into real estate investing, but really got serious about it in 2003 after living overseas for almost 14 years. I actually traveled and lived in Latin America for a long time, settled down in Costa Rica, had a business down there, got married, had kids. In 2003, my then wife and myself decided that Canada was a better place to raise our children. So we packed up, shut down the business there, and came back to Canada and basically had to start all over again from scratch. So no credit. I've been gone so long. I didn't have bad credit. I had zero credit. Self-employed for so long, I was pretty much unemployable. We moved to a new city and a new area. I had no contacts. And, it was really and I hadn't been able to sell my business in Costa Rica, so we didn't have very much money. So we went from living in this lovely tropical lifestyle with, live-in maids and gardeners and, gated community and all that kind of stuff to renting a crappy little townhouse on the wrong side of the tracks in a brand new city. So needless to say, my ex-wife, which is now my ex-wife, was kind of accustomed to the nicer things in life. So I was under some pressure there, Gabe, to get my you-know-what together. And I looked at different things. I looked at becoming a financial planner. I took all the courses and stuff around that. And they got to the whole thing about mutual funds. I said, there's no way in hell I would buy one of these things. Why do I want to make a living selling these things to people. So I said, okay, not going to be a financial planner. And then I saw one of those infamous late night infomercials, get rich quick in real estate infomercials. Do you remember those?
Yeah, I'm familiar with those for sure.
Yeah. So this guy came on board and said, you too can get rich in real estate with little or no money down. And I said, that's perfect, because that's what I got. Little or no money. So
talking to me, baby.
Yeah, talk to me, baby. So I pulled up my credit card and hoped for the best and sent away and got this guy his program. And at that time came in a bunch of binders, and I might have even still been a VHS cassette or two in there. And, I went through all of this stuff. And of course, I'm up here in Canada. It was all American stuff. So I had to kind of Canadianize it a bit and massage it a little bit. Things are slightly different up here, but made it work. And my first claim to fame was doing 18 deals in 18 months in the town of Kamloops, which at that time had a population of about 80,000 people. So a fairly small town, and got good at attracting motivated sellers. So that was kind of fun. Around that time, I caught the eye of an up and coming real estate guru up here. And he liked what I was doing with marketing, and I did some cool stuff for him. And I came on board as the director of marketing for his group of companies, helped him grow from him and one or two employees working out of his basement to 128 employees, 7 branch offices, $200 million a year in gross revenues over about a 6-year period while I was working with them, and took some time off from active real estate investing. Then around 2010, jumped back in, got into what we call client first rent to own or lease option type deals. In that situation, we find a really good tenant buyer, go out, buy them a house, and then rent own it to them for the next 2 to 3 years while we help them get qualified for financing. So I did a bunch of those deals, Gabe, and that's when I first kind of got into the whole raising capital thing, because the first bunch of real estate I was into, creative, no money, low money now deals, didn't need capital for that. But this new strategy, I did need capital. So the first 2 deals I self-financed, like most of us do. By that time, I had some money, I had some credit. And then I ran out of that, right? Eventually, you're going to hit the wall. You come up with a couple of down payments. And just like around Seattle, property prices up here are pretty crazy high. So you're paying a lot of money for houses. And that's when that's when the perfect deal landed in my lap. And I don't know if you ever heard this. Have you heard this? Find a good deal and the money will magically find you. Have you heard that?
Yeah.
Well, I call BS to that, Gabe. No offense to anybody that's magically made that work. But here's what happened. I had this perfect deal. I didn't have the money. I knew it wasn't just going to magically find me. So I'd heard, if you need to raise money quick, pick this thing up, the phone, and start dialing for dollars, right? Dialing for dollars, cold calling. So I tried that. I called. I wasn't very good at it because I got rejection. And my poor little fragile ego couldn't handle that much rejection. So I quit doing that fairly quickly. Then I remember hearing in somewhere in the background, turn every conversation into a real estate conversation. Go out there, network, schmooze, talk up a storm, raise capital that way. So I grabbed my business cards, went to the Chamber of Commerce, BNI, Toastmasters, wherever the hell they had a group of people, and they let me in the door. I showed up because I was desperate. Like I needed to raise cash pretty quick. The clock was ticking. Talked up a storm, collected a bunch of business cards, raised exactly 0 capital. So now I'm starting to sweat. I had to get I could get a 1-week extension on subject removal on this deal. And that's when I came up with what I thought was a brain flash. Hey, you know what? This is such a good deal. If enough people see it, it will sell itself. So I put together a little PDF, zapped that out, emailed that out to a couple of hundred people that I knew. And that was the first thing that I saw that showed any sign of life, Gabe. I started getting these replies coming back, and I was getting excited until I started reading those replies. Because basically what they're saying was, Dave, haven't heard from you in 5 years. 10 years, one case, 18 years, the guy hadn't heard from me. And here you are, pitching me, hit me up for cash for a deal. Take a hike. So needless to say, that the end of the story is I couldn't close on that deal.
Oof.
I ticked off my tenant buyers big time, ticked off the realtor, ticked off the property seller, ticked off the mortgage broker.
Yep.
I'm in a fairly small town, so I got some major egg on my face for doing this, right? And not only that, but that stupid thing where I email blasted everybody, I shot myself in the foot because I turned off so many really good prospective investors by being clumsy, by being the bull in the china shop, just rushing out saying, "Hey, I got a deal, give me money." Right. So that was a very painful experience, Gabe. And then I sat back after the dust cleared and I gave my head a shake and I said, "Dave, you dummy. Why did you do that? If there's one thing you're pretty good at, it's marketing. Why don't you figure out how to apply marketing and get investors coming to you instead of you desperately, creepily chasing after them?" Because that's exactly what we do. So that's when I, find a good deal and money will find you. That's where I learned the lesson. No, that's not true. When it comes to the chicken and the egg, the money always comes first, Dave. Have your investors lined up, ready to go in the wings, then go make offers on deals with confidence, with your mojo intact, because you've got the capital to back you up. Does that make sense?
That makes complete sense to me, and I like the strategy. I've been in situations where I had a good deal in my hands and I didn't have the capital to close it, and that's it's not easy to first ask people for money, especially if it's completely cold and there's no relationship established there. So I like it. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like you really have perfected this system. So what is it that what do you do? What are the main things that you do to build up the guys in the wings ready to invest in your projects?
Yeah, well, I do a full day workshop on this, Gabe. So what I'm going to share with you here is just very, very superficial, but I'll just fly through. I've got 5 steps. They're fairly simple steps, but there's obviously a lot more involved with everything. So the first step, Gabe, is let's focus on the low-hanging fruit. Let's focus on the people that are most likely to invest with us. And those are people who already know us, like us, and trust us, right? So if we're trying to raise capital, trying to get somebody to invest $100,000 with us or whatever it is, they need to know you, they need to like you, they need to trust you with their money. Make sense?
Yep.
Right. So the big mistake everybody else makes, and myself included, is they think anybody with a pulse and a checkbook that doesn't bounce is a good prospect. Wrong. Okay. So let's start with the low-hanging fruit. So what I always show our clients is come up with a target group of about 150 to 200 people who you already have a pre-existing relationship with. So friends, family members, work associates, people through your outside interests, clubs, sports activities, that sort of thing. If you could bump into this person on the street, you'd know them, they'd know you, you could have a nice conversation, right? And everybody says, "Well, Dave, I don't know 150 people. I don't know 200 people." Yeah, you probably do. If you just take a look in your cell phone and all your contacts, start there, export all your contacts from your cell phone, get them into an Excel spreadsheet. Same with your email contacts, your social media contacts, any contacts you have, get them in that Excel spreadsheet. And chances are you're going to have 1,500 or 2,000. Now, you don't know all of them, right? But you can quickly go through it and whittle it down to 150 to 200. Does that make sense? Instead of thinking up 150 to 200. So that's step number 1. Step number 2, well, actually, this is all part of step number 1, but it's create that contact list and break the ice with them. So the next part of this is don't screw up like I did, just rushing in all tacky and clumsy saying, "I got a deal, you got any money?" No. What you want to do is you want to break the ice first. You want to reconnect with these folks on a personal level first before you start talking business. And we got a very simple, yet very, very effective 3-step email campaign to these people on your list to reconnect with them, to start the conversation first, and then transition. The third message is all about transitioning into the real estate conversation without hitting them up for cash right away. Just kind of, first shot across the bow. "Hey, I'm investing in real estate. It's something I'm really passionate about. I'm doing well with it. If you like, I'm going to keep in touch with you and let you know more about what I'm up to. And hey, who knows? Maybe sometime in the future, you might even want to partner with me on a deal," right? Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. So that's the whole first step. Let's create that list. Let's get those names all up in an email autoresponder, and let's reconnect with them first before we start talking business. Step number 2 of the 5-step process is we want to make sure we've got a very effective investor presentation ready to go. And I always recommend a slide deck. And I call this my $1 million investor presentation, right? Because here's the thing. Most of the people that are on your list of contacts are not real estate weirdos like you and I, Gabe. And I say that with love and respect, as we are, right? And so are all of your viewers and your listeners. Because if you're listening or watching a real estate podcast, you're weird in a good way.
You're a glutton for punishment is what you are.
Well, I mean, most people are binging out on Netflix or whatever the hell they're doing. They're not doing this, right? So we got to keep that in mind. Most of the people that we're going to be approaching about investing are not into real estate investing. So we need to be able to present our opportunities in a simple, effective manner that educates people about what we're up to, shows them the pros, shows them the cons, right? Shows them how we're going to mitigate the risks, and allows them to make an educated decision as to whether it's a good fit for them or not. So this is the $1 Million Investor presentation. We got a little strategy to help people, I call it ninja strategy, to help people get a 3 or 4 or 5 practice runs under their belt before they go out with this. Very, very effective strategy. So that's step number 2. Make sure you've got a really good presentation. I recommend a slide deck, like a PowerPoint or a keynote or whatever, right? So you can show people, especially nowadays, you're going to be doing it, chances are this is coming out, COVID's still a thing. So you're going to be doing a lot of your presentations via Zoom, or even if you're doing it face-to-face with somebody, you just flip open your laptop, walk them through it. It's a lot more easy for them to understand this, and it keeps you on track as well, so you don't go off on a tangent.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
All right, step number 3. Once you got all of that, let's kick the marketing into gear. Constant, consistent communication. Very, very important, Gabe. I highly recommend you get people, you work towards communicating with your list of 150 to 200 people at least once a week, right? Now, you might start with once a month, but work up to where you're communicating with them in an edutaining fashion once a week. What do I mean by edutaining? A little bit of education and hopefully some entertainment value in there as well. Because again, remember, the other person is not a real estate weirdo. They're an average human being, right? They don't want to know all the stuff we've got in our noggins about real estate investing. What they want to know is that we know our stuff. So we want to just kind of give them the Coles Notes version, the very high level, superficial stuff. Don't give them spreadsheets and data and market analysis. Most of them are not analytical. It'll just turn them off. Okay. Yep. So make sure, keep it Reader's Digest level, very, very simple and consistent, constant, consistent communication. The core part of that is to have a very good investor-focused website, completely separate from whatever your normal real estate investing website is. This one is focused on communicating with your investors, your prospective money partners. So that's step number 3, that constant, consistent communication. Everything comes from your website. Everything brings people back to your website. And the goal of the marketing, Gabe, is not to sell your deal. That's not the goal of the marketing. The goal of the marketing is to, quote unquote, sell people on the idea of talking with you, of meeting with you, of doing a Zoom presentation with you so you can show them what it's all about. Does that make sense? We don't want to try and sell the deal itself via the marketing.
Before we continue on with today's guest, I want to tell you guys about a community I'm launching on School to help investors like yourself grow your own portfolio. In this community, you'll get access to all the docs I use, all the systems I've built, everything I've used to grow my own portfolio, as well as instructions and guidance on how to get out there and find great deals, how to finance those deals, and then how to manage them for great returns. Since we're just launching it, the price will be set at a measly $20 per month, and whatever price you join at is the price you'll have for life. We will be increasing the price as the group grows, so if you're at all interested in growing your portfolio along other investors, now is the time to join. I will put the link somewhere in the bio or on our podcast website at therealestateinvestingclub.com, so if you are interested, head on over there. With that said, let's get back to the podcast. That makes complete sense to me. Whenever someone tries to hard sell me, I'm automatically turned off. I was like, do not talk to me about that. I just don't want to hear it. But if they develop a relationship and they just kind of, slowly but surely weasel their way in and finally do the final presentation, then.
But here's the beautiful thing, Gabe. It's such a difference. I mean, I know you've seen this. If we can get ourselves in there, you call it weaseling in, I call it edutaining ourselves in there. If we can get in there and then we can get you to reach out to us requesting an appointment. That's the difference, right? That's a night and day difference versus me trying to push an appointment on you. So I create the curiosity and just this repetition, constant, consistent communication, you get to the point where you go, yeah, Dave, you know what? I'm interested. You click on the contact me tab, my calendar pops open, you book a day at a time. That conversation is a complete 180 from me chasing you down and trying to cold call you. Would you agree?
Yep. You're kind of a tractor beam, bringing people into you versus going out there and attacking them with information, which is much less enticing than someone actually entertaining you and bringing you into the fold.
Exactly. All right. Now, step number 4, we'll go through this quick because I know we're under a time crunch here. Step number 4 is, creating that credibility and authority around yourselves as a real estate professional. Now, here's the thing. People say, well, Dave, I've only done 1 deal or 2 deals. How can I possibly be seen as an authority? I know people that have done hundreds of deals. Here's the thing. You only need to be seen as an authority in the eyes of your prospective investors. That group, that small group of 150 to 200 people, those are the only ones you want to be seen as famous in the real estate space too. That's all that really matters at this point. And here's the thing. If you've even done 1 deal or been involved in 1 revenue property deal, you're already ahead of 95% of the general population who's never done a single revenue property. Their own house doesn't count, right? So if you've even done 1 deal, you're light years ahead of 95% of the people on your list. So again, it's all about how do we position ourselves, how are we seen as a credible authority, how you dress, how you speak, what your website looks like, what your presentation looks like. All of these things play a big part. And then last but not least, part number 5, once you've got an investor or 2 under your belt, it's so much easier to get more of them, Gabe, with good testimonials and referrals, right? Birds of a feather flock together. Your investors know other people who have money. So once you're delivering them good results and they're happy with it, it's so much easier to get more investors on board after that. Does that make sense?
Perfect. No, I love it. I'm taking notes here, and I'm going to breeze through these back just to make sure that I understand it because I like this advice. This is something I'm going to take into my own business. So the first step, you said, you create that content list in order to break the ice with the constant emails, and this is based off of the giant list. You can whittle it down to 100, 150 people that you want to actually engage with, people that are warm leads, not cold. And then you create that presentation deck for step number 2. And then number 3, you have the constant communication, entertaining them, edutaining them once per week. And then number 4, you're building credibility, and 5, those testimonials. So that's the full deck when it comes to raising capital from your 5-step program, correct?
Yeah, my money partner formula. Exactly. That's what it's all about. You got it.
I love it. I'm gonna use this. This is good information for my own deal. So I appreciate coming on and sharing it.
Oh, my pleasure. That's what it's all about. So yeah.
Awesome.
Go ahead, Gabe.
Well, I was actually just gonna say we've breezed through our 15 minutes, so we got to jump into the quick question round.
Let's do it.
All right, and it starts with books. I'm a big bookie, so let's go. The 2 recommendations: 1 for real estate and 1 for general life wisdom.
Oh my goodness, real estate, there's so many. If you're just getting started, you can't go wrong with Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That's everybody's favorite. And again, if you're just getting started, or reread the damn thing, it's different every time I read it. That's for sure. It resonates differently. So that's my number 1 recommendation.
Perfect. I love it. How about general life wisdom?
General life wisdom, The Ultimate Sales Machine by Chet Holmes.
Oh, nice.
The Ultimate Sales Machine by Chet Holmes. That's my favorite business book of all time so far.
I'll have to check that one out. That's the first time that's been recommended. So I'll check it out soon. Next question is your superpower. So what are you amazing at? What's your strength?
Marketing. Yeah, so that's my strength. That's what I focus on.
I love it. And now going back to the younger you. So if you were to go back to the Dave who, was just left Costa Rica, was getting into Canada, didn't know what he was doing, didn't have any contacts, no credit, go back to him and give him one piece of advice moving forward.
One piece of advice would have been learn this whole raising capital things, other people's money thing. Because I look at it, Gabe, I did those 18 deals in 18 months. Sounds impressive. Some of them were great. A lot of them were just crappy little deals, mobile homes in mobile home parks, not the park, single trailer kind of thing. So my advice to my younger self would be figure out how to hold on to a few of those properties, figure out how to get some capital and do some longer term buy and hold. Because I was just basically flipping stuff is all I was doing. It was very transactional. And now, fast forward almost 20 years, if I had held on to 3, 4, 5 of those properties, millions and millions and millions of dollars in equity right there.
Yep. It's amazing what time does with deals. It definitely increases their value. Next question is for the listeners. You've given us a lot of pieces of great advice. So where's the best place for them to go out and get in contact with you?
Well, again, we just skimmed the surface here, Gabe. So if people want a more in-depth understanding of the Money Partner Formula, I'll be happy to give that to them in my book, The Money Partner Formula, in exchange for their name and their email address. So they can get that at investorattractionbook.com. Again, investorattractionbook.com. That'll get you into my world, and we do a pretty good job of communicating with the folks on our list on a regular basis.
Perfect. So that is investorattractionformula.com. I will
Nope. Investorattractionbook.com.
Investorattractionbook.com. I will put that in the show notes. So if you see the little more in the description, click that. It'll pull down the full description. In there, you can find the link to reach out to Dave and say hi.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Well, Dave, thank you for hopping on here and sharing your formula.
My pleasure, Gabe. Thanks for having me. Take care.
Absolutely. For everybody who's here with us today, thank you guys for showing up. You're the reason we do this, so we appreciate having you here. Again, the best way to support the show is just to subscribe, like, share this episode with your friends and family. And as always, we appreciate if you leave a 5-star review for us on Apple. Best way for us to grow there. If you guys have any questions, reach out to us. We hope you have a great day and keep rocking real estate. Look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Real Estate Investing Club. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode and were able to pull some actionable advice that you can go home with and apply to your own investing business. Before you go, I have a gift for you. If you're a new investor looking to get started or an established investor looking to take your business to the next level, I've created an ebook just for you available on the website. This ebook will cover how I was able to create both active and passive income in real estate with very little money to start with. In it, I will address the 3 most often cited obstacles new and veteran investors run into by showing you how to find a deal that's actually a deal, how to finance that deal with little to no money down, and how to exit a deal for maximum value. And if you get the ebook today, I'm going to bury you in bonuses, 7 of them to be exact. First, you'll get the off-market lead generation blueprint, which will take you through the exact systems and processes we use to generate off-market leads like clockwork, which is the most important skill when it comes to creating real wealth in real estate. Then you'll get the A to Z REI systems and vendors guide, which will allow you to peek under the hood of our business and see the exact tools and systems and even the vendors we use to grow our business. After that, you will get the top 100 best performing keywords pack, which will give you the exact keywords we use to target leads online and generate leads without having to lift a finger. Next, you'll get the contracts bundle for wholesaling and renting real estate, which will give you access to all of the contracts we use in the field to execute all types of transactions. After that, you'll get the Investor's Quick Analysis Calculator and Offer Tool, which will allow you to quickly calculate whether a deal is an actual deal and will allow you to create an offer automagically from those calculations. Next up, we'll give you the Investor's Daily Success Tracker, which is a tracker you can use to ensure you are taking the right actions day in and day out to reach your financial goals in real estate. And finally, you will get the Wholesaler's Template for Quick Assignment Cash, which will give you the templates we use to present our wholesale deals professionally and efficiently to our buyers. I know that is a ton of things to say. I'm glad you're able to stick with it. So you'll get both the ebook and all of those 7 free bonuses when you download the ebook today. All we charge is the admin cost to run the show. So if you are interested in the ebook and the bonus bundle, head on over to the website at therealestateinvestingclub.com. Click on Get the Ebook Bundle at the top of the page and take advantage of that deal. With that housekeeping item covered, I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day and even better week. Keep rocking real estate, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.
All right, before I officially sign off, I have a quick announcement to make.
If you're interested in becoming a passive investor in one of my deals, my own company, Kaizen Properties, is looking for capital partners for our upcoming projects. We invest in what are known as recession-resistant assets, mainly self-storage facilities, mobile home and RV parks, and industrial properties. If you're interested in investing and would like to learn a little bit more about my company, our investing criteria, and some of the previous projects we've done, go to the Real Estate Investing Club podcast at therealestateinvestingclub.com and scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page. Click on the Invest With Us button. That'll pop up the investor form. Fill that out, and we will reach back out to you as soon as we can. Or if you prefer a little bit more of a personal touch, you can reach out to me at gabe@therealestateinvestingclub.com. So really, that is it. Again, it was a pleasure hanging out with you guys during this episode, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.